welcome back to Whitmas 2021. Hey. Welcome back to Whitmas. Today I'm going to be sitting down and filming a Q&A. You've got the Q's and I've got the A's to your Q's because it's a Q&A. I love watching Q&As because I feel like they're so intimate, personal. Me and you, my homegirls, we're just hanging out, you and I, talking about some juicy, some real life tea, okay? I asked you guys for some Q's over on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, please come join the party, okay? I typed them all up on my iPad. So listen, I do feel it's important to address the elephant in the room, if you will. The most asked question on this Q&A, you guys, come on, and that is, are you and Stefan living together? And here's the thing, if you would have asked me at any point in my life, okay, any chapter of my life, will I live with my significant other before we're married? If you watch any other Q&A, I said I would never do it. I have always genuinely been so excited to get married and then move in and start this whole new chapter together. Like, I was so excited for that moment, but hey, you know what? Life happens. So, 2020, year from HE double hockey sticks, all right? Quarantine hit, Steph and I decided to quarantine together. This is when we're all razzled and dazzled. It's like April of last year. We're like, whoa, I'm frazzled, I'm dazzled, I'm razzled, So Steph and I decided to quarantine together, and you know what? That quarantine just never ended. A few months after quarantine, I lost one of the most genuine, beautiful, amazing human beings to cancer, and then I was dealing with grief, and then in January is when my symptoms, like heavy, strong symptoms of depression, started kicking in, and then my birthday hit, and that was the first time I started questioning why I was still here. And so I truly don't think I could have made it through this last year without Stefan, and I'm so grateful that I've had Stefan with me by my side every step of the way over the last year. And life changes your course sometimes, and now it's just me, Stefan, Navy, Indy. Yes, we live together, and it was such an easy transition, and I wouldn't have any other way. I'm so grateful. So I hope that answers all of your questions about if Stefan and I live together now. Hey, you guys all caught on anyways. I just hadn't come out and been like, listen, Linda, we're roommates and lovers, thank you. To go along with that, somebody asked, was your family disappointed that you and Steph lived together before marriage? Absolutely not at all. My family lives across the country, and through quarantine and through this whole last year fighting depression, being diagnosed with anxiety, I know it brought my parents a lot of peace and comfort that Stefan was with me, and they also just love Stefan. Sometimes I think my mom and dad like Stefan more than they like me. That's all I'm saying. I don't think anyone was disappointed. Okay, T. Why are you having a long engagement? Is it because of COVID? Yeah, 100%. Listen, I originally, as soon as we got engaged, I was like, boom, 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 boom. Let's LETSGO. Let's get married, I was going to have an 11-month engagement, and the venue that we originally picked out was just not the venue for us. Also, every bride from 2020 moved their weddings to this year, which kind of just left 2022 a little more open. I never thought that I would have a long engagement, but it's been amazing. I have felt no stress planning my wedding. It's just been easy breezy lemon squeezy. I would have loved to get married this spring or summer, but there's some things happening. And those things couldn't be moved, so the next option was fall. Spooky. Next question. Does abstaining from alcohol affect any friendships you have had or are trying to make? I think in high school, the fact that I didn't drink was very weird to my friends, and I was not invited to a lot of soirees because I didn't partake. Once I got to college, I feel like it was fine. I went to the parties. I had some fun, but I never drank, and that was okay. You know what? If you guys need a DD, I'm here for you, okay? Let me tell ya, number one DD right here. Designated driver. I got your back. I think through time, you find the people that best fit into your life. And I have several friends that do drink. I have several friends that don't drink, but we just do different activities with those people. Does that make sense? Hey, you guys know me. I'm a homebody. I'm not going out and about to the clubs. I'm not heading to the bars. I have a family. I always had such a fun time hanging out with my friends when they were drinking, all through college. After college, I just found my people. Friendships are crazy because I've had friendships before that I thought were going to be my friendships for life. I'm like, this is my homegirl for life. And you know what they say, you have friends for a reason, you have friends for a season, and you have friends for a lifetime. I'm so grateful for the friendships that I did have, but as you grow up and you evolve and you change, you find your people. You could have 100 dingy pennies or you could have 4 shiny quarters, and I feel very fortunate. It took a long time. I didn't find those people until after college, but I found my quarters. Whether they drink or they don't drink, it really doesn't affect our friendship at all. So we just change our activities, you know what I mean? You won't catch me at the clubs, but if you need a DD, I'm always here. Thank you. Give me a call. T. At what point in your YouTube journey were you able to financially support yourself? I started posting regularly on YouTube in January, and I got my first paycheck from YouTube in May, and that was for $100. So you don't get your first payout from YouTube. This was like 5 years ago. Keep this in mind. It could have changed until you make $100. So in those first 6 months of me posting weekly, this is when I was working my desk job, and in the evenings I'd work out, and then on the weekends I'd film, edit, and then I'd post. And I remember like going into the bathroom at work, do all my comments. So 6 months of posting regularly, I made $100, and it wasn't until a whole other 6 months after that that I wasn't financially able to support myself solely through YouTube, but with other streams of revenue. I'm so over the IG butt pics. These girls keep contouring their bodies for a picture. Thoughts? I firmly believe that women should be able to do what they want with their body. If you want to get Botox, filler, plastic surgery, if you are doing something, if you are taking photos of your bum and it makes you feel 100, it makes you feel so beautiful and confident, then why would you ever stop somebody else from doing that? You know, I've talked about this before, like you are in full control of your content and the content that you consume. If following somebody that posts photos like that, if you find that triggering, if you find it annoying, if you find it bothersome, then simply unfollow that person. You have all the power and you can make a silent exit. I talk about that a lot. I think we need to be a lot less judgmental of women and the content and the photos that they post online. And remember that everybody has their insecurities, and if somebody felt so beautiful and confident in that photo and that's why they wanted to post it, then who are we to judge, you know? But with that being said, if you find that bothersome and you don't like it, girl, just hit that unfollow button. I've talked about this in the past. Social media makes you nitpick every single thing about yourself. And there have been so many things that I didn't even think twice about. My voice, my nose, my body, like certain aspects that I have never even thought twice about. And now they're some of my biggest insecurities because people online on social media have decided to bring that to my attention. So people get so mad that social media is not more real and raw, but it's because at one point somebody pointed out something that they don't like about your body, about my body, about a stranger's body on the internet, about my voice, and now every time they take a photo they think about that comment that you left, and they will make sure that they would never receive that comment again because it hurts so deep. I think we need to be a lot less judgmental, and I think it's important to just unfollow creators that don't bring you joy. If there's a creator that you follow that makes you feel less of the amazing, inspiring, important person that you are, then you need to unfollow. When going commando in leggings to work out, how do you deal with the D word? I'm assuming the D word that she is saying is discharge. Okay, I track my cycle like a freaking hawk. Okay, let me tell you that. I track my cycle like a hawk. It's from my fertility window to my period where it's like, hey, I'm looking at that discharge. I know what my consistency is like. I know where I'm at in my cycle. I go commando. You can always do a panty liner, or I'm also just cautious of like where I'm at in my cycle, you know? Is it gooey and sticky? Because that's fine. Is it like runny and dripping? You know what? Hey, maybe we bring out a panty liner that day. Maybe we know we gotta wear a darker color that day when we're a little more juiced up. You know what I mean? Next question, do you ever go to a public gym even though you have a home gym? You know, for a couple months after my home gym was built, I was still going to a public gym. But I learned in therapy that right now my gym is it's a very traumatic place for me, and I'm not at that point. I think I'm almost there that I feel ready to go back to the gym. But I found out about Brian's passing in the gym, and you know, it was so scary because for the first time the gym was not like a place of therapy for me, and I would just like, I kept going into the gym and I would sit in the parking lot and I would just cry, and then I I would leave. Or I would go in and I would get 3 sets done and I would leave. I didn't understand why I felt that way, because for years and years and years, the gym has been a place of therapy for me. You know, after talking about this in therapy, we pieced it together. The gym is just not a good place for me mentally right now. I do think that I'm almost there. Or if I go back to a public gym, I think I might find a different gym. The way that I found out about Brian passing was very jarring. It was posted on social media before his family announced it. And then, like, I can still remember, like, visually, I have the worst memory, and I can still visually remember where I was, what bench I was at, and just, like, I ran. So right now I'm only using the home gym. There are some things that I miss about a public gym, you know? Sometimes it's more motivating. I miss the leg press. Yeah, that's kind of it. I miss the leg press, the leg curl. I miss that too. So I could see myself going back soon. Okay, are you a pimple popper? Yes or yes? Absolutely yes. And you know what I asked Stefan? One of the questions is like, what's Stefan's biggest pet peeve with you? And he said, it's that I don't listen to him when he asked me not to pop his zits. I don't know, I just found that hurtful, you know? Very serious question. Rank the Colleen Hoover books you've read. I've only read 3 so far, but number 1, Ugly Love. The Ugly Love hits different because I've been in that relationship where you so desperately know that you'll never be able to change somebody, but you're so desperate for this person, you're so in love with this person that you want to stay. So Ugly Love hit deep for me. Then there's Verity. Spooky. Verity is so spooky and so good. That was the book I read on the 4th of July, and I spent 24 hours reading it, and I could not put it down. So Ugly Love, Verity, and then It Ends With Us. I know that'll be controversial because everybody loves It Ends With Us, but I liked Ugly Love more. And Verity. Do you think moving home near your family would help with depression? I go back and forth on this because I don't think moving back to Ohio would be good for me. Like, I do not want to live in Ohio ever again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to my fellow Ohioans. I love you. I grew up there. We're good. But I don't want to move back. You know what I mean? But I do think that living closer to my family would be life-changing for me. And I hope that once my little brother graduates from high school in 4 years, we can all live closer. You know? I'm fine moving, but you won't catch me moving to the Midwest, okay? Is there anything you wish you would have done differently this past year? I thought long and hard about this. And for me, I wish that I wouldn't have waited so long to ask for help. I think what's so scary about mental illnesses is you feel so alone because it's all going on in here. And so I felt so alone for so long, and the thoughts I was having were very scary. And I wish that I would have asked for help sooner and started getting help sooner before I reached the point where I didn't want to be here anymore. Brand partnership gone wrong. Dun dun dun. This is juicy. I said bring the juicy questions. This is juicy. There's always something going on behind the scenes that goes wrong. I'm telling you, there's always something. You guys know I work with Gymshark. I have like my long-term partnerships that I have with Gymshark, but I don't do one-off collections. I don't do one-off sponsorships anymore. I stopped doing those a couple years ago. But when I was doing these one-off sponsorships years ago, I think the last one I did was 2018 or 2017, something always goes wrong to the point where I've had to re-edit a video so many times that the video was garbage, and so I just cut the partnership. If brands try to control everything that a creator does, I always, hey, you know, this isn't gonna work out. You know what I mean? You know, with the brand partnerships, my second most asked question was, why don't you talk about or use TULA products anymore? Juicy tea. I swore by, I used TULA for years, religiously. My entire skincare routine from beginning to end was TULA. I was so fortunate enough to do a collaboration with TULA. I loved working with them. I loved the people behind the brand. All of those people that I once worked with no longer work for TULA. When people keep asking, did something happen? Nothing happened. My contract came to an end. I think it's only fair that people evolve. My skincare routine has evolved. There's not one skincare YouTuber that I follow, and I follow a lot of them, that has the same skincare routine in every single video. I love skincare. I love trying new products, and that's the extent of it. I just started trying other things. I love other things. I feel like my skin is the healthiest and happiest it's ever been, and so nothing happened. I just think it's only fair for the creators that you follow to evolve, just like you. And my skincare routine, it's evolved. My coupon code with TULA still works, but I'm no longer affiliated with TULA at all. I don't make a cent if you use that commission code. Listen, I did ask them to take it down, but they never did, so that's fine. Keep using that. Keep getting a steal. Keep getting a deal. Also, they just put their 24-hour day and night hydrating cream into an eye stick, and I do love that. So I still use some of their products. What is your biggest fear about being married? It's so crazy to think about. I'm sure if I go back my early YouTube days, I used to talk about it. I used to be terrified of marriage. I would look at all of my friends, and every single friend that I've made since going to college is now married. So I kept looking at all of my friends, and I just didn't understand how they got to that point, because I've always been so scared. I've always had doubts. I've always had worries. Then I met Stefan, and all of those fears slipped away, and all of that anxiety that I felt and fear that I felt just was gone because I met my person. It was a huge indicator to me of how I knew Stefan was the one for me. And it didn't come all at once. It happened with time as our relationship continued to progress. I think having those fears and those worries is totally normal, and I don't think that you should think there's anything wrong with your relationship. But, you know, once Steph and I started talking about marriage and building a life together, all those fears that I felt in the past, I think I felt those because it was always the wrong person. And as time progressed in our relationship, they all slipped away. So my current biggest fear about marriage, I constantly think about having to live a life without Stefan. So being married, building life together, and then losing him is my biggest fear. I think that's my anxiety saying that, you know? Okay, do you and Stefan share bank accounts, and will you when you are married? Dun 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 dun. I feel like this will be controversial, or maybe not controversial, but an unpopular opinion. But my mom and dad have never shared bank accounts, and my mom and dad have never fought over money. They've made their own money, they split the bills, and I've always really admired that. And so Steph and I want to do the same thing. We will never combine our bank accounts. We don't tell each other how to spend our money, and we split our bills, and we never fight about money. I definitely feel like that's an unpopular opinion, but I really admire my mom and dad for that. And so Steph and I had that conversation, and we just decided, you know what, if it worked for Wendy and Greg, I think it could work for us. Do I think it could get a little complicated when we have kiddos? Maybe, but we'll just have that discussion when we get there, you know what I mean? Some psoriasis questions. Is there an update on injections? You know, there's not. Okay, you guys know I've had psoriasis for going on 13 years now. I don't remember a life without psoriasis, and I finally got approved for injections, and we started this long process. You have to do a blood test to make sure you don't have tuberculosis. You have to go through a specialized pharmacy. We start this whole process, and my insurance denied it, which was so defeating. Well, honestly, the day that I got approved for injections was such a weird day for me. I'm not much of a crier, but I could not even hold in my tears long enough for me to like privately cry in my car. I'm like walking out the door, tears running down my face, because I've worked so hard to heal my psoriasis in so many other ways. And so to know that we're kind of at our last resort where my psoriasis is bad enough that I get approved for injections, it was like I was happy because I'm so grateful that that medicine is provided, but it was also so defeating to know that that's how bad this autoimmune disease has gone for me. I made the decision. I want to get injections. My insurance has denied it. I'm in the appeal process right now. I will update or continue to update on my Instagram stories like I have been whenever that happens. You know what I mean? Who knows if it will. Fingers crossed though. Do you have dandruff because of psoriasis? If so, what do you use for it? I used to be very embarrassed by my psoriasis. And I'm so sorry if this is TMI, but yes, I do have psoriasis through my whole scalp, around my ears. I'm constantly scratching and itching. I would say actually my scalp itches the worst, either my scalp or my back. I love wearing black, but I always get embarrassed wearing black because it always looks like I have tons of dandruff on my shoulders when it's just my psoriasis plaques. I've tried the psoriasis medications, like medicated shampoos. Nothing's ever really worked for me, and also I just don't like them. You know, they smell like tar. I personally don't do anything. I just, if you know what I'm saying. Do you ever cheat and just eat gluten and dairy? I don't. I have not eaten gluten and dairy unless I did by accident in 3 years. And then I always get this question, does Stefan also eat gluten and dairy free or just some of the time? When Stefan and I go out and about, he does not eat gluten and dairy free, but if I'm making something and it's gluten and dairy free, he'll eat it. I don't like make two separate meals, you know? We eat the same meal and it's always gluten and dairy, but when we go out and about, my homeboy, he's never eating gluten and dairy free when we're out and about, you know? And do I get jealous? I do. Okay, you see? That's my psoriasis. I'm like constantly scratching my scalp and it's like a tick, I've noticed, you know? How long did you plan for and work on V3? So she's referring to my latest Gymshark collection, which was a dream come true. What's crazy is these things take so long. So I was working on V3 before V2 even dropped. Like I had samples, was trying on the mesh sports bra before my second collection even dropped. So we started working on it in 2020. If I remember correctly, Lois and Meg from Gymshark came out here. We picked the color swatches, we did measurements, we were doing fittings for V2, and in that same meeting we did color swatches for V3 and we started working on V3 right then and there. So I need to find it. I have it somewhere. I have a vlog clip of me trying on V3 samples, and V2 hadn't even launched yet. I think we had announced it, but it hadn't launched yet, and I just found that so ironic and funny. So it is 4 p.m. on October 14th. I just posted the video reviewing my second collection. That was uploaded an hour ago. So an hour ago, I announced my second range, which has yet to come out. I feel like this red on camera is making me look very red. And I just got a package with more samples for my third range, which is launching in May. ETA. You know, it could change, but I don't think it's gonna change. I don't even know what we're gonna call this. What does the label say? The travel robe. I feel like this is gonna be our final sample of this travel robe because the last time I saw it was pretty freaking perfect. I just want to say that the new length on these Whitney shorts are so perfect. We took out the laser cut detail on the back. Okay, so the sportswear is the hardest to envision. So like, really try it with me because this color, this like peachy color won't be there. This peachy color will be the same color that the sports bra is. So like if this was a black sports bra, it'd be all black. But what I was talking about is this seam right underneath here sits kind of low. So if you're like me and like try to pull your boobs up like this, then like sometimes your nipple can pop out of this mesh. So, okay, so this is the crop vest. I think we need to do one more sample on this because I think this is sitting a little bit loose. You can see it's a little bit loose at the bottom. And then I think I want to see this with more of a structured built-in bra, or at least cups, because this isn't doing anything for my boobs. V3 is like, that collection just means so much to me because I worked on it through the darkest moments of the last year and a half. So seeing it to come to life just brought me so much joy, and it was like my outlet. Working on V3 was an outlet for me when I felt like everything else in my life was just not going well. So it takes a long time. We started working on it in the beginning of 2020, January 2020, and it released September of 2021. That's crazy. Have you ever met a rude influencer or celebrity? Yes. Yes, of course. But here's what I always keep in mind is you never know the day that somebody's having. I am so introverted and I have RBF. I've been told that since I was in high school. She has resting face. And it always hurts my feelings, but people are not wrong. You know what I mean? Look. I hate it. You know, I wish I was one of those girls that's always smiling. Like, I look at those girls and I'm like, wow, you amaze me. Although I've had unpleasant experiences with content creators, I really tried to give people the benefit of the doubt because I hope that's what people give me. And I get so sad when I see people say like, I saw her in her gym and she walks around and she's so mean and she doesn't talk to anyone and she doesn't smile. And I'm like, because internally I'm dying. The introvert in me, the thought of even going back to a public gym terrifies me because I'm so introverted. You guys know I've talked about this. Like, I really struggle going to Gymshark events because, you know, right now I'm just sitting in a room talking to a camera with Navy and Indy by my side, but I don't even let Stefan film with me because I'm so shy. So, you know, I just give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I hope people would give to me. We all have bad days. Okay, maybe that person's introverted. Maybe that person just found something out devastating. Maybe they're like me and they're suffering with depression. Maybe they have really bad anxiety that day. So I always wait it out, you know what I mean? Let me meet you again. Let's try that again. And I hope that somebody would do the same for me. All right, guys, that is going to complete today's Q&A. You've got the Q's, I've got the A's. It's a Q and A. Thank you. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure, help your girl out. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and never forget to subscribe so you never miss a fit tip with Whit again. I love you so so much. And until next time, I'll see you next time, which is soon, because it's Whitmas 2021. If I could erase 2020 from my mind, I would. That's so dramatic. Okay, I love you guys.